The movie starts in the year 2049 with an astronaut named Augustine. Augustine is sitting alone and is sad. He has a very serious illness and needs blood transfusions every while. Otherwise, he will die. So he prefers to stay on an island in the Arctic with a group of people. At that time, he saw a woman named Catherine. She was looking for her little daughter Anna and was very worried because she couldn't find her anywhere. Another woman told her that her daughter left the island. At that time, the weather was very bad and snow was everywhere. We learn that life on Earth has completely changed because of the wars humans caused. Toxic gases spread in the atmosphere, and life on the planet became very difficult for humans. So they started sending space missions to search for planets that people could live on. At that time, a group of scientists decided to gather the remaining living humans from all over the planet and put them in temporary shelters underground. This was to protect them from the toxic gases and radiation in the atmosphere. Currently, we see Augustine in the space agency where he works. He monitors the spaceships that departed Earth to look for another planet for humans to live on. Earth's resources have become very scarce, and also the population is very large. People must look for a new place to live. Therefore, many space missions started to search for planets suitable for life. Augustine keeps track of all their news and movements to inform them of any new developments on the planet. He goes to his office, takes his medicine, and does a blood transfusion to keep from dying. After that, Augustine tells us that in the past, he was a very famous scientist. He spent his whole life searching for another place for humans to live instead of Earth. One day, he was at a party talking about the discovery of a moon around Jupiter. He named the moon K23 and told everyone that this moon could be suitable for human life. It is like Earth even though it is just a moon, but everything on it is exactly like Earth, such as food, water, and the planet's movement. Augustine said that in the future, humans will be the reason for the destruction of Earth. This is because of greed, wars, and conflicts between them. They will have very little time before the toxic gases spread everywhere and kill them. After the party, he went to talk to a very beautiful girl named Jean. It appears she admires him and keeps asking about his research and books. We find out she is obsessed with science and very interested in studying space and the future of humans. Then she invites him to go with her to a beach in a city in Turkey to spend some nice time together. She tells him that she has a completely different point of view than his theory. She says that she thinks people will continue to live in their natural place on Earth. That the problems and wars between humans are normal things and they won't cause the destruction of the planet. Then we go back to the present. Augustine has just woken up and starts looking for spaceships he can contact. He writes that there is only one ship called Aether. This is the only ship he can communicate with. He has only 12 hours to contact them and tell them the information he has. At that time, there are 5 astronauts on the Aether ship, including a woman named Sully, who is responsible for the communication device with Earth. She is on a strange planet conducting research to see if it is suitable for life or not. Suddenly, she finds that her friends left her alone on the planet and walked away. But it turns out to be a nightmare, and Sully wakes up frightened. It appears she is tired because she is pregnant and has been away from Earth for a long time. She gets up to do her daily routines with the rest of the crew on the ship. She is shown to be very loved among her companions. She likes to communicate with the spaceships near her or with anyone on Earth. But there is no signal, and it has been a long time since they last communicated with Earth. She suspects that something is wrong, and perhaps the atmosphere pollution caused the signal to be cut. After 12 hours, she receives a message from Augustine. She doesn't understand anything from the message and can't reply because of a malfunction in the transmitter. She tells her colleague that she will try to fix the problem as soon as possible and talk to Augustine. At that time, Augustine is at the agency waiting for an answer from the spaceship. Suddenly, he finds a fire in the kitchen because he forgot the food on the stove. He hurries there quickly and collapses on the floor from exhaustion. At that moment, he sees a little girl named Anna. She is the same girl who was lost from her mother a few days ago. He tries to speak with her, but he discovers she is mute and does not speak. He communicates with her through sign language. He sends a message on the radio and says that he found the lost girl. He gives her description so her mother can be reassured about her. He waits for any response to make sure someone heard him and that they will come to take Anna because she is very young and needs care. Unfortunately, he won't be able to do that himself because he is old and has a serious illness and is about to die. When he realizes that no one is answering, he talks to Anna and tells her she will stay with him in the office until her mother comes for her. He asks her to take care of herself because he will not be able to take care of her himself. After finishing his talk, he prepares food for her to eat. The girl appears scared and does not want to be alone. At the end of the day, Augustine tries again to contact Sully on the spaceship, but as usual, there is no reply. He goes to check on Anna and notices that she is afraid, so he tries to calm her. He tells her that he sent a message by radio for her mother to come and get her. He reassures her that she will be fine. Then he takes her to the room where she will sleep and goes to his own room to rest. After a while, Anna comes to sleep next to him because she is afraid to sleep alone. She tries not to make any noise so as not to bother him. At that time, Sully tries to contact Augustine again, but discovers her transmitter is broken. It appears that she and the crew are afraid because they haven't contacted Earth for a long time. Before they traveled from Earth, the weather conditions were very bad. The next day, Augustine wakes up and, as usual, does a blood transfusion to keep his health. Then he talks with Anna, plays with her, and shows her a picture of the Aether spaceship. He tells her there is a group of scientists on the ship trying to return to Earth, but if they do, the ship might be destroyed because the atmosphere is toxic. Anything passing through it will explode immediately. He tells her that in the past, he was in a relationship with a beautiful girl named Jean, whom he met at a party. One day, Jean was very upset with him and came to his office and argued with him. She told him she was pregnant. At that time, Augustine was depressed and not focused on her, so Jean was upset with him and decided to leave him and go live away from him with her daughter. While talking, Augustine is sad because he wished he could have children. Because of his obsession with space, he lost Jean, the love of his life, and his only daughter. He says that he kept searching for them for all the following years and unfortunately did not find them. After a while, Augustine's relationship with Anna develops to the point that she enjoys her time with him. For the first time in years, Augustine is very happy and treats Anna as if she were his daughter. He makes her all the food she likes. The next day, Augustine leaves the space agency to take a walk. He writes that snow is everywhere and the cold is the reason the transmitter is broken. That means he can't communicate with the Aether spaceship. So he decides to go to another space agency where the weather will be better so that he can contact the Aether ship, since he is convinced that Earth is close to destruction. His only hope is to travel with any spaceship to a new planet suitable for life. He and Anna dress up to leave the place. On their way, Augustine says that for a long time, people started living on Jupiter, but not everyone could go. A group of people remained on Earth, waiting for any ship to take them to Jupiter. But unfortunately, no ship came to Earth to take them. Although Augustine is a famous scientist, and he was the one who suggested that humans live in space, no one remembered him. No spaceship took him to Jupiter. On the way, Augustine sees a destroyed plane and starts searching in it for any food or anything that could help him in his journey. Suddenly, he finds a member of the plane's crew still alive, but injured and about to die. Augustine decides to kill him to relieve his pain. He is very sad and affected by what he did. He remembers his beloved Jean when she left him and decided to live away from him with her daughter. At that time, he felt guilty because he did not try to stop her from leaving, since all he cared about at the time was science. Then we move to Sully playing with her friend Dee. It appears they are good friends, even though they have only known each other for a short time. Sully keeps teasing him because she saw his file and learned a lot about him. Suddenly, they hear an alarm sound on the Aether ship and get tense. They quickly go to their teammates and find out the ship has changed its direction. Instead of heading to Jupiter, it is now heading toward Earth. They are shocked because Earth is about to be destroyed, and it is very hard for anyone to survive there now. They do not know what problems they may face on the planet. At the end of the day, the ship's crew sits in their office. They have a device called a simulator. This device lets them recall memories of their families on Earth. The ship's leader, Sanchez, appears to love his wife very much and sees his memories with her and his children. Afterward, he says he wants to return to Earth as soon as possible to be with his wife and raise his children. He has been in space for a long time and is tired of this life. The next day, Augustine performs a blood transfusion, and Anna sits with him to comfort him. He tells her stories about the stars. He tells her that he used to watch the stars with his beloved Jean before she left him. At the same time, Sully discovers she is pregnant and is happy about it because she always wanted to have a child. At that time, Augustine is on his way to the space agency where he will contact the Aether ship. On his way, he finds a small shelter where he and Anna rest. At that time, he discovers that she speaks normally and is not actually mute. She was just afraid of him, so she did not speak. Augustine is happy and tells her to be careful, because the ice in the shelter could melt at any time. Then he gives her food to eat and assures her he will prepare a lot of food for her when they reach the space agency. After a while, Augustine senses strange movements in the place and realizes that the ice they are sitting on is melting. He quickly gets Anna out so that nothing bad happens to her. When he tries to get out, the ice melts and he falls into the water. After a lot of effort, he manages to get out and finds all his personal belongings have fallen into the water. He returns to Anna to reassure her. He tries not to show her that he is worried because he does not have his blood transfusions with him. So Augustine decides to rest for a bit so he doesn't get exhausted. Afterward, he continues his path with Anna, and along the way, they are afraid of meeting wolves or wild animals. Finally, they reach a cave and rest for a while. Augustine tells Anna he will protect her and will not let anything harm her no matter what happens. When he notices she is hungry, he tells her that the space agency they are going to has a lot of food. As soon as they arrive, he will get her all the food she desires. Then they leave the place, so the ice doesn't collapse on them as happened before. Suddenly, a snowstorm appears in front of them, and Augustine sees a group of wolves inside the storm. He decides to shoot at them with his gun and kill them before they attack him and Anna. But he is surprised and, not noticing, feels guilty because he couldn't protect her. After a while, the storm calms down, and Augustine is exhausted due to lack of food. He imagines his beloved Jean standing in front of him, but it turns out she was hiding because she is afraid of the wolves. Augustine is happy that she is still alive, and he takes her with him and continues their journey to get to the space agency as soon as possible. They finally arrive, and Augustine is very happy because he was about to die from hunger and illness. He enters the agency and turns on all the transmitters and tries to contact the Aether spaceship. Finally, he succeeds in making contact, and astronaut Sully responds to the call. She asks why NASA isn't contacting them. Augustine explains everything to her and tells her that everything on Earth has changed since they left for Jupiter. They will not be able to communicate with NASA because of bad weather. He tells her he was trying to communicate with them for a long time, but unfortunately no one answered. He explains that most of the Earth is destroyed now, and they will not be able to live on it again. Before he can finish talking, the connection is interrupted. So Augustine decides to call Sully again the next day so that he can rest. At night, Augustine goes to sleep and remembers the last time he saw his beloved Jean when she was with his daughter in the car. He couldn't talk to her since she didn't know he was her father. Jean promised him at that time that she would tell their daughter about him and make her a scientist and astronaut like him. At that time, an alarm sounds on the Aether ship, and the crew discovers that some space rocks are hitting the ship. These rocks destroy the communication devices, and at that moment, there is only one solution. Someone must go out of the ship to fix the destroyed equipment. Sully decides to go out herself to fix the malfunction. Her assistants, Maya and Aid, join her, and they are very afraid, especially Maya, who is very nervous since it's her first time outside the ship, but she tries to hold herself together. They all exit the spaceship, and after a while, they finally manage to fix the damaged equipment. Before entering the spaceship, the rocks start hitting the ship again. They hurry to try to repair it, and since there is no gravity, drops of blood float in the air. It is clear that the wound is severe, and first aid is not enough to save her. She must go to a hospital as quickly as possible. Maya loses a large amount of blood, and then she dies. The whole crew grieves, and they are afraid they might die just like Maya. Their only wish is to return to Earth in any way possible. Sanchez, the captain of the ship, goes to bid farewell to Maya for the last time. He is sad about what happened to her, and at the same time, he is upset because he could not do anything for her. He appears to be worried about himself and the rest of the crew because these giant rocks can kill them all at any time. They must leave their location immediately and head towards Earth, even though this path is very dangerous and all their devices are broken. Unfortunately, the ship's radar will not show any foreign objects ahead. On Earth, Augustine is very upset because he failed in his mission, since this was the only time he could speak to a spaceship in a long time. He tries to talk to the Aether ship again and succeeds. When he learns they are near Earth, he tells them that the atmosphere is full of toxic gases. This means that no plane or spaceship can enter or leave Earth. He says that a long time ago, humans split into two. Half live in space and the other half live in temporary shelters underground. Augustine suggests they return to Jupiter because they will not be able to land on Earth. But Sanchez, the spaceship captain, refuses and says he disagrees with what is happening and insists on returning to Earth in any way. He also says he is ready to return to Earth alone, to find his wife and children and live with them as before. The crew has to accept their leader's decision and give him a space capsule to travel to Earth. Another astronaut named Mitchell also decides to return to Earth to bury Maya. He also remembers the daughter he left a long time ago and says that she was about the same age as Maya, which is why he treats Maya as if she were his own daughter. He decides to return to Earth to bury her. At this time, Augustine feels frustrated with the state of the planet. Anna comforts him and assures him that everything will be fine, that she trusts him and is sure he can change everything for the better. After a while, astronaut Sully speaks with Augustine and tells him that her companions are returning to Earth, and she and her assistant Aid will return to Jupiter. She says she wished she could also return to Earth to meet him and talk to him, even if only once. She tells him her real name is Iris and that her mother's name is Jean, and she does not know who her father is. She doesn't know that Augustine is actually her father. She tells him that he is her role model in life and that she studied space to become a famous scientist like him. Here, Augustine starts to cry because he cannot realize that all this time he was talking to his daughter, and she doesn't know he is her father. He remembers when his beloved Jean decided to leave him and took their young daughter Iris and left. A little while later, Augustine goes to walk with the little girl Anna, but suddenly finds she has disappeared. It turns out he was imagining her, and that he is a psychiatric patient who imagines things that do not happen in reality. Ever since his daughter and wife left him, there were no children with him at all. At this time on the Aether ship, Iris decides to return to Jupiter, and her assistant Aid is with her to begin a new human life away from the Earth, which is now destroyed. The movie ends. If you like this summary, don't forget to like the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel Cinema in a Nutshell. See you in the next summary. Peace.